Madagascar, island paradise in the Indian Ocean. Home to fun-loving folk and a unique natural landscape. "500 kilometers off the coast of Africa lies the island of Madagascar, the fourth largest island on Earth, and separated from the rest of the world for the last 90 million years. Madagascar was only discovered by humans around 2,000 years ago. They came from Asia, the Middle East and Africa. The diverse origins of the Malagasy tribes are evident today in their lifestyles and traditions. Anakau in the southwest of Madagascar is home to the fishermen of the Vezo tribe. It's a remote region and hard to reach overland. The Vezo live primarily on the water and fish according to their traditional methods. Even the children are adept at using nets, harpoons and spears. Outriggers are the most important possession here. They're used not only for fishing, but also to transport all kinds of goods. The only way to get from one place to another quickly is by boat. The inland is impassable and inhospitable. A little way from the beach, the dense Madagascar spiny forest begins. This is no place for human beings. At best, it's where dark spirits lurk. But there's an astonishing array of animals living in the thorny brush, especially ones that are able to survive droughts, such as the mouse lemur and the red-capped kua. The beautiful markings on its shell have made the radiated tortoise a popular addition to terrariums around the world. At home, it's threatened with extinction. Many of the plants growing in the spiny forest of southwestern Madagascar have never been biologically or pharmaceutically documented. The well-respected local healers, however, have known since time immemorial which leaves, blossoms, bark and wood are effective against sickness. This green pharmacy is still integral to their art of healing today. As inhospitable and repellent as they might look, the spiny forests are rich in bizarre animal and plant life that has adapted itself in many ways to the extremely dry conditions. Moisture-retaining stalks and leaves and well-fortified thorns and barbs help the plants to survive heat and water shortages. The sunbird feasts on the honey of the aloe blossoms. Most of the plants and animals in the spiny forest of Madagascar can only be found here. This chameleon is one of them. Normally it moves very slowly, imitating the movement of swaying branches. To get from one tree to another, it has to climb to the outer tip of a branch and hope that the wind will blow it within reach of another tree. A rather precarious situation, as here it can be seen by birds of prey. Made it. The chameleon can easily hide from enemies in this maze-like plant. The Madagascan sand lizard has a so-called pineal eye on the top of its head. Biologists believe that this light-sensitive organ helps regulate the reptile's circadian cycles. Surprisingly, there is actually water in the subsoil of this arid region. Prehistoric stalactite caves provide nocturnal birds with shelter during the day. A real rarity, however, are the blind fish. Their eyes have completely disappeared, a sign that they have been living isolated in darkness for millions of years. The Vezo are considered to be the children of the sea. Motorboats are rare around here as they're much too expensive. Many families still live mainly on the sea. They sail from one island to another along the huge coral reef that lies just off the west coast of Madagascar. Up till now, they've enjoyed rich fishing grounds. But increasingly, they're forced to share this wealth with international fishing fleets that descend on the coastal waters of Madagascar and threaten the livelihood of the Vezo. Much of the reef off the west coast is still an almost pristine underwater paradise. But climate change is taking its toll here too. Rising water temperatures cause many corals to die off. The reef still manages to rejuvenate itself, offering divers and tourists to the region a breathtaking coral landscape and the Vezo tribe abundant fishing grounds. Swimming or flying, the red-tailed tropic bird lives far out to sea. It only goes ashore to breed. An ideal location for this is the little island of Nosive, about half an hour by pirogue from Anakau. There are no voracious rats, so these seabirds can raise their young unmolested. The young still have black bills, but at 6 weeks old, they're almost full-grown, allowing the adult birds to spend longer periods away from the nest. All along the west coast, the typical local cargo sailboats, called boutres, are constantly underway. The shores here are often covered in mangrove swamps. They form an effective barricade against the formidable cyclones. Their thick root systems give the mangroves a solid foothold, and their fruit is shaped so that it falls like an arrow into the swampy morass and takes hold there. Fiddler crabs live among the seedlings. At ebb tide, they crawl out of their little caves and look for food. Their mouthparts filter the sand for everything that's edible. The rest is discarded in the form of little balls. Mangroves and their saplings are unfazed by the constant ebb and flow of the ocean. The salt water is not a problem for them either. On the contrary, they need this extreme habitat between the sea and the land. The mud skipper is another extremist, a fish that lives more on land than in the water. The fertile mangroves are not only an ideal refuge for crabs, insects and birds, they also provide a safe spawning ground for fish. Fishermen can't make a big catch here, but the labyrinthine mangrove roots protect the future generations of fish that will probably ultimately land up in their nets out to sea. Fishermen often spend all day in their dugouts. It isn't easy to catch enough fish to feed an entire family, and there are few other sources of income around here. To catch the bigger fish, they have to risk going far out to sea. Belleau-sur-Mer on the west coast is an important boat-building centre. The shape of the boutre originally came from Europe and was adopted here as a traditional craft over 100 years ago. The hardwood planks are greased with fish oil and bent over an open fire until they fit the hull of the boat without tension. It can take years to finish a boutre. Whenever the owner has enough money, the construction continues. Once the hull is finished, the gaps between the planks are filled with fibre. Notches, gaps and holes are sealed with pitch. After that, the boat is waterproof. Children build their own boats using leftover wood and plastic bags. They start learning early. Sailing a boutre is especially challenging. There's no room for modern technology, either in the making of the boat or sailing it. There are no engines and no navigation equipment. The captain and his crew rely entirely on their own sailing experience. Calm or storm, it is the only thing that brings them safely back to harbour, time and again. Madagascar has changed a great deal since the first settlers arrived from across the ocean. But this unique island world has still managed to retain much of its wild natural beauty. And this is how the fascination of Madagascar lives on.
Madagascar,